When I was young, my father used to travel back and forth from Yonkers to Albany. And at that time, I didn't know much about what he was doing, but I knew all that traveling must mean he was doing something important. So I'd ask my parents what he did, and they would respond that he makes the law. And this sounded so cool to my young self. But it wasn't until much later that I realized the true impact of what this meant. My father was elected into the New York State Legislature as its youngest member in 1992. While there, he passed landmark legislation. Following 9/11, he introduced and passed the law that expanded health care coverage for first responders and construction workers impacted by the tragedy. That year, New York was in a fiscal crisis. The state passed my father's bill, which brought billions of dollars into the New York economy by turning racetracks into casinos, one of them right here in Yonkers. That's not all. He was instrumental in having so many other laws passed, one being Megan's Law, legislation that protects children from sexual predators. When my dad was elected mayor, I was only 10 years old. Michael was 12, Chris was 8. I remember celebrating in Julio's restaurant, hearing This City play loudly as he walked in. I remember my family and I walking across that bridge outside City Hall for his first inauguration. Most importantly, I remember feeling so proud, so special, and so excited for what was to come. I don't think my young self could have imagined just how my expectations would later be exceeded. As mayor, his drive for cultivating a community to be proud of continued. He has come up with urgently needed solutions to budget issues, police reform, and weather crises. For one, during Hurricane Sandy, he postponed Halloween, even though my 12-year-old self wasn't too happy. He guided us through the unprecedented pandemic. He brought Hollywood to Yonkers' backyard and cared about public education in a way that no other mayor has. So now we get to celebrate an above 90% graduation rate in Yonkers schools. What many people don't get to see is just how ready he is to be there for the city at any given moment. There's been countless times where he's been woken up in the middle of the night to tend to an emergency in Yonkers. If there's a fire, a car accident, you name it, he's there doing everything he can to help. If my brothers and I are awake, we go too. Although the thought of this may seem burdensome to some, my father makes it known that he sees this as a privilege to serve this community in any way he can. He's a great mayor, but to me, he's also an amazing father. He's our biggest cheerleader, whether it be motivating Chris when he's in goal at his hockey games, whether it be Mike as he's finishing his Harvard thesis, or me as I go through my first year at Fordham Law. I think I speak for all of your children in saying that you've given us nothing but unconditional love and support in helping us accomplish our dreams. And I'm so grateful to be able to watch you accomplish yours in leading and bettering the city of Yonkers. A few months ago, amidst the stress of my new school, I went to my dad and I told him I was so nervous. So he told me a story that I wanted to share with all of you. When Leonard Spano, my grandfather, served in the Korean War, there was many times that him and those he served with were told that they have to cross a mountain ahead. And those he served with would look up at the mountain, tired, thirsty. It was so tall, it seemed absolutely impossible, and they felt like they couldn't do it. Grandpa instead looked at his feet, one step at a time. One step at a time, and eventually the top of the mountain would come, and it most certainly did every time. So this thinking definitely helped me survive my first semester, but I think it's evident that this story has guided my father the past 12 years. Step by step, you've fostered important educational reform. Step by step, you've created a place where businesses want to be and where local businesses are flourishing. And step by step, you've transformed the city into a place we are all proud to call home. Ladies and gentlemen, the 42nd Mayor of the City of Yonkers, Mike Spano.